And next we've got joining us Charlotte Mudoola from Uganda, which is very exciting. So she's just joining the room now. And while she's joining, I'm just going to read you her introduction. Hey, Charlie.
Hey. Hi.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good.
Good. I'm just going to read an introduction to a little bit about your bio, and then we'll get back into it. So Charlotte is joining us from Uganda, where she captains the national sevens side, the Lady Cranes. After demonstrating her amazing tackling, running, and defense skills for 2 years in a row at Dubai Sevens for Find Rugby Now Invitational Sevens, she played for the team again at Barbados this past December, where she continued to impress. She's played at the highest levels of sevens, representing both her international side and invitational teams at Dubai Sevens, Hong Kong Sevens, Safari Sevens, Reunion Sevens, many others. And she's also played in the Rugby World Cup Sevens in Dubai in 2009, where they finished in 13th place as the bowl quarterfinalist. In 2018, the team she captained finished second and qualified to play in Hong Kong Sevens, which is very exciting. And in her free time, she's a lawyer working with the Uganda Registration Services Bureau as a senior registration officer, which is very exciting. So welcome, Charlie. How are you?
I'm good, Elaine. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Where in Uganda are you joining us from?
I'm in Kampala, the capital. So I'm at home with my parents in Kampala.
Ah, very exciting. You've got a lot of supporters online because people keep messaging saying that they're waiting for you to join.
Hi everyone. I'll say hi to all the fans.
All the fans. One of the things that I think would be really interesting for people on the call to get an understanding of is kind of the situation about, you know, rugby in Uganda, and also maybe if you could talk about your family's sporting achievement, because I know your brother also plays at the highest level of the game as well.
Yeah, coming from a family of 2 boys, like brothers who played rugby. Of course, I looked up to them. They both played 15s in the national team, and one of them played in the sevens, played the Commonwealth Olympics, and he captained one of the teams. So I looked up to them, and it was kind of competition for me. And I also had to come out from their shadow and be the best player and show that I can actually be as good and even better than they are. So it's a competition and a challenge, especially in Uganda. Being a girl, you have 2 brothers. They are playing high level, so you have to work harder, you know, to show everyone that you are equally the best and you deserve like the call up for the national team and every chance you get. So it's tough. It's a tough journey and really challenging, but it's a good one. On the other hand, it pushes you to work harder. Yeah.
And how does it work in Uganda with rugby? Is sevens sort of the dominating sport, or is there any 15s rugby union there?
Okay, for women's rugby, the biggest is the sevens. The sevens, we have more tournaments for sevens than the 15s. So basically, and even the physique of the players we have in Uganda are more suited for sevens rugby. It's just now this year, last year, we started having some 15s competitions called the Gold Cup, where we have 4 teams. Uganda, South Africa, Kenya, and Madagascar. So 15 rugby is just coming up in Uganda, but we mainly focus on the sevens. Sevens is the biggest, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what's interesting is obviously it's harder to get that high level competition in Uganda, but then when you're playing at an international level, you're expected to play against New Zealand and Australia and England. How have you found that challenge?
It's a very big challenge because we don't have that many games, like high competitive games like the teams like New Zealand, England. You had Natasha, the number of tournaments or competitions they attend before a bigger tournament. For us, in a year, we have only one sevens tournament, which is the Rugby Afrique Sevens. And before going for the Rugby Afrique Sevens, we don't have any other tournament as build up for that tournament. So that's a very big challenge. So to prepare for these tournaments, we sometimes have games with, we come up with well-wishers, boys who are experienced in playing sevens, and they give us opposition just to help us prepare to play against the high level teams that have had games throughout the year and prepared, you know, because sevens is a very high intense game and it requires split second decisions. And that comes up if you play more games, more competitions, you get to understand each other's players. So that's a challenge we have here in Uganda. We just hope like we'll have more games to prepare for these bigger tournaments. Yeah.
And do you find, so obviously I follow you on Instagram, I see all of your awesome workouts that you post. Have you found that, I guess for a lot of people, this lockdown period has been quite difficult because you can't access the gym, you don't have access to running tracks and things that people normally have. Have you found that to be less of an issue? Because I guess you're used to working with less equipment anyway. All the stuff I see you doing on Instagram is like body weight and things that you've kind of put together. Have you found that to be the case?
Personally, I haven't found it a challenge because at some point in my life, I worked way away from Kampala where most of the training happened. So it taught me to work out and play alone. I was in the town. I was the only rugby player. I didn't have anyone to work out with. So my coach, Helen, would give me like programs to do. So it kind of taught me how to work out alone and help myself out. So during this COVID, it hasn't been so hard to actually work out. And also like the fact that I have my brother, his aunt, who leads these sessions, the Zoom sessions. So basically I also have a support system in that way. So as we do these workout sessions, we have other friends who join us, so we help them to actually keep fit and keep healthy. So in a way, I feel it's easy for me. It's very easy because in the mornings, I usually do my own sessions at Charlotte. Like I work on my skills, speed, agility, so that now in the evening when I'm doing the HIIT sessions with my brother and the Zoom sessions, actually now just working on myself, it's basically to help other people and push them and encourage them to actually work out. So for me, I didn't find any it was just smooth sail for me to work out alone and during this COVID situation.
And are you guys getting any kind of input or help from the from your coaches or from the sevens kind of setup? And also interesting to know is the men's team getting more or kind of a same amount of support as the women's team?
Right now, honestly, the men's sevens team, of course, is getting more support than the women's team. So we just ride onto that support. Right now, the only, like I get sessions from Helen, Helen Buteme. She helps me out once in a while. And also my brother, Timothy, they give me a few sessions. That's how I get to work out. But at the moment, we're not getting any workout sessions from the coach. So basically, if you have a support system and someone who really were willing to help you and give you something to do, and that's the best you can do at the moment. So, but at the moment, of course, the men's sevens team comes first, especially if they have the Olympics qualifiers coming next year.
Yeah, and just talking about kind of some of the high-level tournaments that you have coming up, just looking back, what are kind of some of the experiences that you've had, which you sort of remember the best kind of sevens experiences, the most memorable?
First, I would say the World Cup in 2009. That was like a shock for me. Like it was like something, coming from Uganda, a small team as Uganda, and you're playing against a team as New Zealand, and that was our first game. Like that was like shocker for me. It was a rude awakening for me, but also a learning experience because I got to realize, I think we have the talent, we can do everything, but the only disadvantage we have is just competition, more games. So like that game, I just got to learn so much because I noticed we're equally faster, we're equally fit. What we lacked was experience, exposure, and the conditioning at that time, the strength and conditioning. But then also playing the invitational tournaments with FRN, especially in Barbados. The two teams, the team from America and Canada. Oh my God, that was crazy. That was crazy. But like after playing them, I was like, actually, we can actually take on like these players. You noticed they were way bigger than I was. I think one of the smallest on the pitch, but I was taking them on, and I realized actually these teams can be taken on. We just need the support and more games to actually play these bigger teams. So yeah.
And going into these competitions, some of them, let's say, you know, when you're playing, let's say you're playing the New Zealand team, you're going in already as like an underdog, right? I mean, you sort of, you know, most teams are, to be honest. How mentally do you prepare for that challenge?
Honestly, you know, like when you're in the tunnel, you look at the team and like, oh my God, this is New Zealand already. That has already put up your mental. So usually what you do, personally, what I do, I just tell myself, you know what, just focus and go do whatever you can. Go out there, give them a hard time. Yes, they're the best, but give them a hard time. And by the time they walk off that pitch, they'll have respect for you. Yes, you've lost, but they'll have respect for you, and they'll be like, they'll just give you words of encouragement on what to do. So that's what I tell myself every time I'm going to play like a team like way advanced than Uganda. So you just and use a chance to actually learn and gauge yourself and see how good you are or what you can do. So basically, that's what I usually tell myself in my head. And at the end of the day, you come off proud and you represented your country and you did the best you could. So usually that's what I do. Yeah.
Yeah, and having served as captain now for a few years of the Lady Cranes, what are some of, I guess, similar question to what I asked Tom Mitchell, you know, what are your leadership principles? How have you found, because I guess also you've got the difficulty that maybe your players are not in the same place, you have less funding. How have you dealt with some of those difficulties?
First, as a leader, you know, I believe you have to lead by example, you know. You have to, like, personally, I push myself because half the team on my, like most of the players on my team are way younger than I am. So basically I'm more the I'm the old one on the team. So I push myself and push myself to actually beat them. So I tell myself, show them, give them the example that actually, if I can push it, why can't they push it and work as hard as I do? So I try to put in 110 extra and even my own personal workouts and everything. So that at least when they look at me, they can live, like I'm an example to them. And when I tell them to do something, they can actually easily do it because I'm actually doing it. I'm not just telling them to do it without showing them an example. So as a leader, that's what I usually do. Plus also encouraging. If you have new players on the team, you just keep encouraging them. If they make a mistake, you walk to them and tell them, you know, do this, do that, and just try to keep involving the new players more and even the older players. So basically, I just keep it as simple as that. Just lead by example, and it all works out for me easily.
Yeah, that makes sense. And for people for players or prospective players that are listening from Africa, I mean, obviously you play in Uganda, it's different in every country, but is there any advice that you could give players that want to play at a higher level that live in Africa?
Yeah, basically, coming from Africa and a low-tier country, we have to work hard. It's all about working hard as players, putting in all the extra effort. And sometimes we shouldn't wait for our unions or the other leadership to actually do something for us. I think we need to equally put in the effort ourselves first. And then if the opportunity comes, like to actually go out there and play, we play our hearts out to actually advertise who we are as players, so that at least the world can see us. But I feel as Africa, we need to also come together, like different countries. We need to have tournaments and play against each other. We shouldn't wait for tournaments in Hong Kong or London, because I think it's cheaper for us to play within Africa. So if you can have 4 countries, let me say Uganda, Kenya, South Africa, and Zimbabwe, for example, they decide to organize tournament, the different 4 tournaments, I think that's enough game time to play against each other as African countries, so that we build ourselves as Africa. So I think that would be a really good idea, as Rugby Africa should actually think about.
And I've seen some of the things that, you know, I know Helen, who you mentioned before, I know, yes, almost like, I know not just Helen, but others in the community, they use rugby in Africa as a way of actually, you know, bringing forth other ideas and helping girls get confidence and things like that. Is that something that I think you've been involved with as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's something that's a very good idea for like underprivileged girls, also like projects to end child marriage. So she uses rugby as a tool you know, to actually involve younger girls to actually find something to do. Then at the end of the day, they have vocational skills. They go back to school just to help the girl child, you know, develop and grow as individuals, but even sports-wise, because, you know, rugby teaches a lot of discipline, leadership, so that they grow up to be better younger women leaders and not forced into early marriages at a young age. So yeah, it's a very good project that other African countries can actually pick up and utilize and use to help the girl child in Africa.
And is there anything that you want people to know about the Lady Cranes or about rugby in Africa or in Uganda? Anything that you think people may not know, but they should?
Well, Uganda has a lot of talent, first and foremost. That's something they need to know. It's just unfortunate we don't have the resources to actually go out there, but it's a country full of players who have the heart, the love, the spirit, the talent, the speed. Basically, they have it all. It's just the resources. So it will be all I have to say is, like, don't write Uganda out. You know, just if you're interested in like having a tournament or something in Uganda, please, you're welcome, because we are friendly people. And then not just Uganda, but even other African countries. You see, there's Kenya. And you see Kenya is performing well in the world stages. There's Tunisia, there's Madagascar, there's Zimbabwe. So basically, Africa, we shouldn't write off Africa. The talent is there and the competition is there. And we just need to come together as Africa and Rugby Africa to actually bring out better quality teams and players from Africa. Yeah.
Awesome. And we've got a couple minutes left. So I was hoping you could talk about maybe some tips for players or athletes or, you know, just individuals watching about what they can be doing right now during lockdown. Maybe some of your workouts that you keep posting, things that you think would be helpful.
Okay, basically, first you can do some squats, like body weight. You can use your body weight to do squats. It actually works and builds the thigh muscles. I've also tried to work on my pull-ups. Now I can do actually 15 pull-ups. So that's also a good way to build your shoulders, your arms back. Yeah. And the push-ups, they call me the push-up queen. So the push-ups can also help like work your body. You know, they're not easy. They're very tough. So they shouldn't think the gym. And if you need weight, you can actually get a backpack. Put some weights in the backpack, put it on your back, and that's extra weight for if you're doing squats, jump squats, different forms of workouts. Or you can do work on your agility. You don't need a lot of space. You just jump cones, work on the speed, use the ladder, you know, the different things. Sometimes to work on my part, I get a tire, a rope, you put it around your waist and just run and pull the tire. So those are all forms of different creative forms you can actually work out. You don't have to wait for the gym, you just have to be creative. Yeah.
And are you watching any rugby during this time to try to kind of use it as an opportunity to gain some additional knowledge?
Yeah, I've been watching loads of old games, sevens, especially sevens for the women, but then also 15s, because I've been watching the New Zealand teams playing right now, and I'm a Blues fan, so we've been winning all our games. So I've actually been keeping myself busy, watching a few games, old games, but then also playing some video games, but rugby challenge, so to try and work on the way I think and play. So I've been trying to mix it up a bit. So yeah, I've been keeping myself busy, besides also work too. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, I think that's kind of, we're getting to all the time we had, but maybe you could tell people how they can find you on social media.
You can find me on Instagram, and posted a few videos of the workouts I usually do. You can find me on at Sharks Pose. Sharks Pose is CHARPOSE, or my Facebook page, just Charlotte Mudoola. So I think those are the best, because Twitter I don't post that much on Twitter. So, but the best would be Instagram. That's why you can find me, you join me, you can see the different workouts I do. And if you need any help, you can always chat and reach out.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. Have a great day, and hopefully we'll see you in person soon.
Okay, thanks, Elaine.
Thanks.
Have a nice day.
You too. Bye.